February 26, 2004, and today we will have Benoit and Jericho calling in. If you want to call us up, 888 Live WWE. I'm Josh Matthews. He's Dr. Tom. Dr. Tom, how long have you been in the wrestling business?
Actually, over 25 years.
And have you ever been more excited for WrestleMania than the one that's right around the corner, WrestleMania 20?
You know, I got to tell you, WrestleMania 20 is going to be the greatest event. I hate saying the word greatest event ever, but it's going to be the greatest event of this year for sure, especially with all the excitement, all the hype that's surrounding this event. And we're looking at Eddie Guerrero going in as the WWE champion, which is a big, big thrill for me in the fact that after everything Eddie's been through in his life, he's now finally accomplished that one thing that we all dream of when we get in this business, and that's to be the world champion. And of course, being the WWE champion, Eddie is going to have to face Kurt Angle. And as we saw last week on SmackDown, there's been obviously a change of heart in our great American hero.
Why, Kurt, why? And that question will be answered hopefully tonight on SmackDown from Kurt Angle. And you know, WrestleMania 20 is right around the corner. And you know, it all started with the Monday Night Wars, and now we have a DVD, The Monday Night Wars. Of course, we're all still working for World Wrestling Entertainment, Vince McMahon, so he won. But we will be giving away 3 copies of the DVD Monday Night War throughout the show. And what do you say we give one away right now, Dr. Tom?
Well, why not? Have you seen The Monday Night Wars yet?
I watched it last week. I thought it was phenomenal.
Isn't it great?
That was awesome.
You weren't around for that time, but it was an incredible time for everybody here.
That was a great time to be a fan, though. I mean, I remember sitting in my basement in my parents' house. I had one TV with Raw, one TV with Nitro, and whichever one was better, that one got the volume at that time.
Kind of like Elvis, right?
Kind of like Elvis.
All right, you want to ask the first trivia question then, Josh?
Sure, why not? There you see how to win the answer. Send your answer along with your full name and complete address to Bite This at WWE.com for a chance to win the Monday Night War DVD. Trivia question number 1. Who did Eric Bischoff challenge to fight him at WCW Slamboree in May of 1998. Once again, who did Eric Bischoff challenge to fight him at WCW Slamboree in May of 1998?
You know, I understand Monday Night Wars DVD has been flying off the shelves. I think Best Buys is reordering it again. So this is a great opportunity for anybody to call in if they have the right answer, or actually to email in the right answer and get your own copy of the Monday Night Wars DVD.
And if you're not smart enough to answer the question, go to Circuit City, Best Buy, like Dr. Tom said, and buy it. It's only, probably $13.99.
Yeah, but it's not on the shelf right now. Here they're having a hard time.
You said at Best Buy, though.
Yeah, it's flying off the shelf at Best Buy.
They probably have it everywhere, don't you think?
It's flying off the shelf.
Do they sell it at on Shop Zone, WWEshopzone.com?
Yes, and I'm sure they have.
We don't have any magazines here, Dr. Tom, today.
Why not?
Isn't that weird?
How come?
We usually do. We usually have the new
Hey, what's this deal? Victoria was here last week, huh?
Yes, Victoria was our special guest right here in the studio. 2 weeks. So last week was Hugo and Carlos. Hugo and Carlos were here.
Hugo and Carlos?
We had lots of emails for Hugo and Carlos, lots of emails from Victoria. But you know who we get the biggest email response to, the biggest one ever?
Yes.
The question we always get is, how come you guys don't have Edge on? Where's Edge? We want to know what's going on with Edge. We haven't seen him. Where's Edge? What's the deal? So what do we do? What do we do, Dr. Tom?
Get Edge.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Bite This, our surprise caller, Edge. What's up, Edge?
Oh, it's me.
It is you. How are you?
Not too bad at all.
Fantastic. How you feeling these days? I know you had a little accident happen, I think it was last week in OVW.
Yeah. Basically, I was back to moving full speed.
Yeah.
And I probably should have paced myself a little better, but, you know, I'm a dumbass, so I wanted to go full out and prove that, I still had it. So, was feeling good, and Ivory was at ringside watching, and just as she said, wow, you haven't missed a step, I missed a step. And rolled my foot and pulled all the tendons and ligaments in it, so it was the size of a football, basically. So I'm in a little walking cast for 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'll be good to go.
So basically it's Ivory's fault, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, why not?
Yes.
We can blame her. Yeah, she distracted me.
Yeah.
And
she does that a lot.
My footing. No, basically I'm just. I think the rest of my body wasn't caught up to my mind. Yeah, I hadn't built up. I call it my wrestling callus, and I don't think the rest of my body was ready yet to go the pace that I was trying to go. So now I know next time to kind of go a little bit slower at first.
Edge, how's the neck? Everyone wants to know. How's it doing?
Well, that was the thing. The neck felt great. It wasn't bothering me at all. So that's why I was, trying to do my thing at full speed. And, the neck felt good. So I was like, great, perfect. And then, did the foot. But, it was holding up great. I was doing everything I used to do. Hit some spears, took some Frankensteiners, threw drop kicks, you name it, I was doing it. Everything I used to do, except for, diving off ladders. And it was holding up. So, and it felt good. So I think I'll be good to go.
Outstanding. I know you were down in OVW for a little while. Was there anybody there that you saw that maybe impressed you or looked like to be a superstar of the future?
Definitely. I'm obviously biased towards the guys who kind of wrestle my style. Johnny Jeter was one guy who immediately I saw and thought, yeah, he's got it. Matt Capitelli from Tough Enough, once again, the same thing. He's got a good look. They both have good attitudes, real nice kids. I can get away with saying kids now. And, Seven, big dude, he's very good too. There's a lot of guys down there because I didn't really know what to expect. I'd gotten an OVW tape the week before just to see, who was down there. But then once I got in there and got in with a few of the guys, you can always pretty much gauge who knows what they're doing at what point. There's another guy down there, Tank Toland, who's very good too. There's a lot of good guys down there, really working hard to try and get up.
And now, Edge, everyone's wondering, when you do come back, whenever that happens to be, will it be Raw or SmackDown?
Wish I knew. I have no clue. And the thing is, I don't really have a bias toward either. Wherever it is that I'm going to get the best opportunity to finally do the last thing I got to do, and that's either win the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship. So wherever it happens, I'm just going to make the best of it.
Obviously, when you were writing your education column, there was a lot of great feedback, and now we understand that you're focusing on your comeback, getting ready and everything else. But do you ever see that column coming back? Did you enjoy doing that?
You know what, I really did. It was kind of therapeutic, and it was nice to get feedback from everybody, because you drop out of sight, and it's nice to know that people haven't forgot. And also, too, I try to get ideas for my comeback from the fans because, they're the ones who pay for the tickets, so their opinion's really important to me. I like to try and think I'm pretty hands-on with the fans when it comes to stuff like that. So I miss it, but everything got so hectic. I started to get healthy, and it was, can you go to India for a week? Can you go to Germany for a week? So I kind of let it fall by the wayside. Then when I really started writing the book, too, it started to fall by the wayside even more. But I never actually got to say a goodbye on it. So I'd like to do that definitely, at least one more. And then who knows, maybe when I get back on the road, get my schedule kind of get back in the groove of it. Maybe not once a week like it was, but maybe once a month, that type of thing. Because it was fun.
Very cool. Did you say writing the book?
Yes.
So you're writing a book. Any chance of knowing when it would come out?
November, I believe. I did the cover shoot for it last week. I came up to Stanford last week and did the cover shoot.
Fantastic.
And it's almost completely written now. I'm just kind of have to send it off to Simon & Schuster, and they'll edit it and tell me what I have to take out and what they want me to put more of in. But I wrote it myself, which was kind of one of the things that I wanted to make sure if I was going to do it. I didn't want a ghostwriter. I didn't want to do an interview and have someone just kind of write down their version of what I did. I wanted it to come straight from my head onto the paper.
Right on. Edge, earlier you mentioned the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship. Recently on SmackDown, Eddie Guerrero has become the new WWE Champion. Your thoughts on that?
Completely proud of him. I love Eddie to death. And just to know how far he's come, and he... I would say him and Benoit, more than anybody in the business, deserve it. And it was great to see it. I was actually up in OVW. I was at a Hooters watching the pay-per-view, and as soon as I saw that 3 count, I gave him a call and left a message for him and just congratulate him and everything. And Eddie's I'd have to say, one of my best friends in the business. He's very sincere, and I just felt really, really, really good for him. I can't stress how proud I was of him.
Cool. Let's go to the phones now. On the phone is Rebecca from Connecticut. Rebecca, you're on the phone with Edge.
Hey, Ed.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Now that Eddie is the new champ on SmackDown and Benoit is finally getting his chance to go for the championship, do you think that all the talent is starting to get a fair chance at all the titles?
I think so. I think it's refreshing to see, some new faces in there and faces that deserve to be in there, too. You got guys like Eddie and Benoit who have just been busting their asses for years. And they'd always have one little knock against them or something like that, and whether it was warranted or not. And now I think we're realizing that the fans want to see these guys and accept these guys in that position, and it's good to see.
Now, Edge, when you do come back, be it Raw or SmackDown, do you squarely see yourself going for the top prize, the Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship, nothing less than that?
I got to be honest, yeah, that's my goal. I've accomplished everything else I wanted to do. I won the Intercontinental title 4 times, did the U.S. Championship, the King of the Ring, and did everything else there was to do. The Tag Team Championship, now the last thing to do so that I can, retire a satisfied man is to win that. And, I said I probably got 5 or 6 good years left in me, and I want them all to be in that level, as long as my body holds. So, I mean, it's up to me when I get back to be able to produce at that level, but that's where I plan on being.
Back to the phones again. Now this is Brooke from North Carolina. Brooke, you're on the phone with Edge.
Okay. How do you feel about the April pay-per-view coming to Canada?
Oh, I love it, of course. Anytime, I've always said, anytime, the Canadian guys or me in particular come to Canada, it feels like one big hometown. And I don't think unless you're from Canada you can fully understand it. If I go to Vancouver, it feels like I'm treated like a hometown boy. If I go to St. John's out in Newfoundland, I'm treated like a hometown boy. So anytime we get the chance to come back to Canada, it's always great. And depending on what show I'm on, who knows, I could be there.
It's like an all-Canadian show because we got Chris Benoit's going to be on the phone, Chris Jericho later. We got Edge. I just realized that, Dr. Tom. 3 Canadian superstars.
That's pretty cool, man, huh?
It's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
So, Edge, not only are you Canadian, but we heard that you went to India recently.
Yes.
I don't know where the tie-in there is, but, it's on my sheet here to ask you about
India and Canada are kind of like the same kind of countries, right? Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man. Just kidding, man.
Never experienced anything like India.
Yeah, it is pretty. It's pretty much overwhelming, I would think, the first time. I've been there once, and it is just looking at the streets and the cows walking down the middle of the street.
It makes you thankful you live in North America, that's for sure. The people were great, and that's one thing I'd like to stress is everyone treated me great. But you see, little babies naked sitting in puddles, bathing. And, I went by one river, I said, what is that? And they said, well, actually, that's raw sewage, and there's people bathing in it.
Ew.
Yeah, it's
people, going to the bathroom in the streets, grown men just naked walking up the side of the highway. I mean, that's obviously the worst case scenario of what I saw, but I saw it, which was, bad enough. It's a different world. It really is.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's go back to the phones and away from India. This is Cody from Indiana. Cody, you're on the phone with Edge.
Hi.
Hey, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Cody, you got a question?
Yeah, are you ever going to team up with a Christian again?
Never say never, but not for a long time. It would be nice to have one more ENC run before, I call it a day, because I know there's still a lot of fun stuff we could do, and I think the fans would like to see it, but not right now. He's doing his thing, and I want to come back and do mine, so it wouldn't be for a little while, I don't think.
Thanks, Cody, for the question. And Edge, listen, thank you very much for being the surprise caller here on Bite This. We really appreciate it, and I know myself, Dr. Tom, everyone here, and everyone all over the world can't wait to see Edge back on WWE TV.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, see you, Edge.
Take care.
So, Dr. Tom, did you know that your microphone fell? Did you know that recently we had a poll on WWE.com?
Hey, your head fell.
Listen. Did you know that recently we had a poll on WWE.com which Bite This co-host over the past few months is the sexiest? We've had Victoria, we had Hugo and Carlos. There's the poll list right there.
Yeah.
Hugo came in last, then Carlos. Victoria came in first. But look, Dr. Tom, you're right there, buddy. You came in third.
No, I came in third.
Oh, man, I think that was in order.
I did too there. But you know what? Hold on. Here's Tom with this.
That's Hugo 6%, Carlos 12%, Dr. Tom with 10, and Victoria was 72. So,
well, 10 and 12. I mean, there's only 2%. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, but Dr. Tom, I think that you could. Come on. You should have won. You should have.
Victoria 72%. I mean,
no, Victoria should have won definitely.
Yeah, I agree
but
that.
I mean, you should have.
Come on, Carlos.
Let's see. If the fans got to see what you really look like, you would have won.
Yeah. Hey, man. All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Dr. Tom,
awesome,
is that you on summer
that
vacation?
was before breast augmentation. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. We got more Dr. Tom pictures. Let's see another one.
Oh, hey, see. See what I'm saying, man?
When was this, Dr. Tom?
That was when after I started working out with Roselli.
That's during your workout days, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, you look buff.
Yeah, well, that was in the early days.
When, your arm has a little discoloration in it up there, but...
Well, yeah, but that was back when stuff was legal, so you could actually take it.
Oh, I see. Well, Dr. Tom, you came in a distant third place.
2%. So you got 12%, I got 10.
Victoria had 72%.
Okay, but Carlos had 12.
Do we have a winner for the trivia question number 1?
Hold on here. Do we?
We don't have a winner? No one has emailed their answer to Bite This? Oh, we don't have a winner yet. So stop that. But now we
have no trivia question number 2?
It's time to give away another DVD, Monday Night Raw to win.
Well, Oh, wow.
I'm going to tell everyone what to do to win right
Are you?
there.
Okay, go ahead.
Email the answer along with your full name. Oh, we want us to
You want to wait
answer?
until the first answer?
Melee. It's chaos. Chaos here on Bite This.
Yes,
Okay,
it's chaos.
Let's start over. Can we get Edge
go
back
ahead.
on the phone?
No,
Okay.
he's gone.
Okay, let's start from here.
Yeah.
We're going to announce the winning question, I should say.
You gonna
Trivia question number 1.
The answer you
The
made.
question was, who did Eric Bischoff challenge to fight him at WCW Slamboree in May 1998? The answer, Dr. Tom, is
Vince McMahon. Of course. Oh, wait. Did I already get that away?
nice build to the answer.
No. I was going to say there's a Taskmaster right there. Taskmaster.
Okay, so now we can go on to trivia question
why
number
not?
2.
We're not building this trip.
Number
No.
2.
Number 2. Let me read this.
There's the
suggestion.
graphic.
Hold on here.
Take a look at the graphic. That's what you got to do.
Trivia question number 2. Name Chris Benoit's 2 opponents at his very first WrestleMania. I don't think that's really a question. I think that's really a suggestion.
Why?
I don't know.
It is a question.
Yeah, it is.
But that's
or
tricky because-
who were Chris Benoit's first opponents?
That's what the question is. Name Chris Benoit's 2 opponents at his very first WrestleMania. So that's a tricky question because it's not just 1 opponent, it's 2.
Oh,
Get it?
I see.
Do
Yeah,
you get it?
Sure I do.
You get it?
Yeah.
We still got Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit joining us on the phone. Give us a call, 888-LIVE WWE. We're having a great time. Dr. Tom and I, the pizza's over there. I can't eat it on the air anymore.
Yeah, thank God. What, did you get a lot of complaints? You know what? The guy who did the video game with me, man, Mike, he actually complained about you eating pizza on the air.
He did? He did the video game
He
with you?
hated it.
What did he do?
Do video games. We actually did motion capture.
Right,
in
he did that?
California. Well, yeah, he was the lead animator or the lead producer, or he was lead something.
The guy that we had on the phone? The Miz?
No, not the Miz. Mike, the guy who does the gimmick for. I'm not allowed to say.
He
it, 'cause
complained about
They
what?
took my column down because I mentioned something about this. So I can't mention anymore, but he did mention you eating pizza on the air. It was really annoying.
He didn't
man.
like that?
No.
It's lunchtime. It's 4:15.
It's not lunchtime, Josh.
It is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because I wake up.
Oh, we have a trivia winner? What?
The trivia winner for
Panama
question
City,
number
Florida is
1,
one
the
of
answer,
my
of course,
favorite
was
places,
Mr.
man.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon. The winner is Ricky R. of Panama City, Florida. Hey,
Outstanding.
I've vacationed in Panama City, Florida before.
I have too, man.
I don't remember any of it.
Yeah, I didn't think so, man. You're probably on drugs. Ecstasy, acid. That's what you do, right?
Dr. Tom, we're on the air. We're
Oh,
still waiting for
sorry.
Chris Jericho. Any second now, Y2J himself, Chris Jericho, will be on the air. He does this big thing right here. It just stands up with his legs.
I do that.
Hey,
your
Dr.
hair,
Tom,
hey, your hair looks good today, Josh.
Doesn't
Very
it
good.
look all weird?
Yeah, it looks great, man.
I'm growing it long.
You know what? We're having, again, waiting for Chris Jericho on the first ever.
That was Chris Jericho taking on Kane from a recent Monday Night Raw. We've been giving away copies of the Monday Night War DVD, but now, without further ado, joining us via the telephone is Mr. Chris Jericho. Hello, Chris.
What a terrible segue that was, Matthew. You say this is a recent clip from Monday Night Raw, and we've been giving out copies of the Monday Night Wars DVD. What does that have to do with the Monday Night Raw, the Monday Night Wars? What are you talking about, Matthews? I'm surprised Dr. Tom hasn't stretched your ass.
Let's start over. Let's start over from the beginning.
That's a very, very good point, Chris. Josh usually goes all over the place anyway. He eats pizza on the air. We got him to stop doing that. Next time we're just going to have to get him to dress better. But you know what? Speaking about the Monday Night Wars real quick, I think you were a huge, huge part of that because when you came over from WCW, your arrival was much anticipated, and we talked to you before about this, about the difference in WWE and WCW at the time. And now that your old boss, Eric Bischoff, has made his way to WWE, it's kind of interesting to actually watch this DVD and see how many stars came from WCW who were misused in that organization, actually became huge stars. You yourself, the first ever undisputed world champion. And I think that you played a very, very integral part in the Monday Night Wars.
Well, it makes me laugh, too, how, myself and Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit all used to travel together in WCW, and after being told how, we could never be anything more than, kind of mid-card, low-level guys, I was the first undisputed champion, Eddie's now the WWE champion, and Benoit's got a title shot in the main event of WrestleMania, so I have to say that somewhere along the line somebody was wrong and it wasn't us, so it was kind of a pat on the back to know that we actually did have what it takes to become top stars in the business, and it's funny because when I left and came to WWE,
I have not a lot of animosity towards Eric Bischoff, but I really just thought that he really mishandled what I was doing and didn't really understand what I was all about. And when he first came into the WWE, man, I think if looks could kill, he would have been dead on the floor for sure from a lot of different guys.
Yeah.
But now, after a couple years of being there, I mean, he's done a great job doing his job as the GM, and he's got to make a living too. And it's actually pretty cool to know him on a different level other than boss employee level, because that one didn't work out. But as employee to employee, he's actually a pretty cool guy. So it's kind of interesting how things come full circle sometimes.
Chris, you mentioned Eddie Guerrero winning the WWE Championship. What are your thoughts on Eddie winning that title?
I thought it was great. I mean, I still haven't had a chance to see the match yet because we were on the road that day as well. But when it comes out on DVD, I'm going to check it out because I love Eddie. I believe in Eddie. I always have, even when he was going through all his problems. I mean, him and I used to travel together, and I've known him for probably 12 years maybe. I met him in Mexico in about 92 or 93, and he's one of my longtime friends in the business, and he's obviously a great worker. He always was. He always was. And the thing that's really cool that I've really seen Eddie grow in more than anything is his promos, his interview work. He's really tapped into that Mick Foley vein of kind of shooting from the hip and kind of talking about real life experiences and working that into a promo, and to do what promos are meant to do, which is to make people want to see the matches. We call them money promos. Dr. Tom knows what I'm talking about. Josh, you have no idea what I'm talking about, and you never will.
Yeah, he has no clue.
But when he's in the ring talking about what he's going to do, you actually want to pay money to see him do it. So it's a really big step for him, and I'm really proud of him to see that he's gone so far, especially when his whole career he probably heard the same thing that I did, and that Benoit heard. He's like, you're just too small to be a wrestler. But I mean, wrestling isn't how big you are. Wrestling's all in your head. It's all in your mind. And the fact he was able to take the title from Brock Lesnar, who's probably tipping the scales at about $3 bills and a quarter. It's good to see that wrestling, like I said, it's all in your head. That's the most important thing.
Chris, you mentioned Mexico. The WWE is holding its first ever event in Mexico on April 3rd in Monterrey. How does it feel to be going back to Mexico?
It's great. It's actually pretty funny because I started my career in Mexico in Monterrey. I was in Calgary at the time, and a friend of mine brought me into Monterrey as his partner, and that's kind of where I started. I was in Monterrey for about 2 or 3 months straight, so that's where I first learned Mexican-style wrestling, and that was my first real full-time job, making full-time money. So I haven't been there probably in 11 to 12 years once again, so it's really cool to be able to go back to the place where I really literally started, besides Canada, and one tour to Japan. Monterrey was my very first territory, so it'd be cool to be going back there. It's a beautiful city. It's very nice.
Well, another place that you, I think, had your early success was Japan. We heard the last Japanese tour was exceptional, and you stole the show every night. We also heard that your voicemail now on your cell phone is in Japanese. Is that true?
Yeah, actually, it is true. Yeah, I always try and put like a goofy voicemail message on my phone because I don't really feel like hearing at the beep, leave your name and number, like whatever, right? So actually, where were we in January? Royal Rumble, I got Funaki to leave an answering machine message for me, and a couple of years ago I got Tajiri to leave it for me too. So I'm pro-Japanese. I'm giving everybody a chance in the company. So maybe next I'll get like Jimmy Yang to do it or something like that, or Akio. Sorry, excuse me.
Right, Chris, you've been all over the place, and recently you were on Mad TV. How was that?
It was great. It was kind of interesting. At first, they wanted us to, the skit revolved around ourselves, playing ourselves, which, I was like, well, man, I play myself all the time. I'd like to play some goofy character or something like that. But, in pure Jericho fashion, I took the reins and kind of changed it around a little bit, did a little bit of improv comedy, and it was good, man. It actually turned out to be pretty funny. I really enjoyed it, and I'd like to go back and do some other stuff, hopefully, in the future.
And now you're going to be on Cold Pizza. We also heard you're scheduled to be on Headbangers Ball, which is on MTV. Thoughts on those two shows?
Man, I've been on Cold Pizza a couple times already. I'm old school, Josh. I've been around the horn, you know what I mean?
So, I hear you. Around the Horn, that's another show. You ever been on that one?
A couple times. I've also been on Beat Up the Nerdy Bite This announcer as well. So
outstanding. I'd like to watch that myself.
That's a great show.
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Tom, don't knock my hat off again.
Yeah, the Headbangers Ball would be cool because I used to watch that all the time when I was growing up, so it'd be cool.
Yeah, Ricky Rackman, remember him?
course. He actually worked for WCW for a while. It's pretty funny, and one of those, what the hell is this guy employed by the company for moments.
Right, exactly. Why don't we go to the phone,
That's
Josh?
like David Arquette winning the WCW World Heavyweight Championship.
Sure.
Okay, on the phone now is Peter from, hey, you're part of the world, Chris, Ontario, Canada. Peter, you're on the phone with Chris Jericho.
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good. Where are you from?
I'm from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, cool, man. That's all right. Good deal.
Yeah, nice and cold like Winnipeg.
Yeah, all right. Absolutely. There's pretty much nothing up there except for, like, mines and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, my question for you is, when you look back, what was it like for you to be able to compete on the grandest stage of them all here in Canada at WrestleMania 18, and you going into the match as the first ever undisputed champion?
Well, I mean, it was definitely, to that point, the biggest moment in my career, WrestleMania-wise, and anywhere. You know, to go into the main event of WrestleMania as the champion was a moment I'll never forget, and it was a great feeling. And you know, I remember standing on the rampway before the show, just kind of looking off into the huge depths of the Sky Dome and thinking, man, in about 3 hours this place can be jam-packed, and you know, I'm going to be, you know, in the last match defending the championship. And that was a huge moment, and even I think it was topped by last year's WrestleMania, where Shawn Michaels and myself, I think, had the match that pretty much stole the show in a lot of people's minds. So to kind of have that feather in my cap as well, to headline WrestleMania one year and then to steal the show the next year is kind of a 1-2 punch that I don't think I can ever get any higher than that. So.
And now, Chris, the phones are just blowing up for you.
What's that?
The phones are just ringing off the hook here in Titan Towers for you.
Well, there's a few fans, man. You got about 12 phone lines, so I have at least 12 or 13 fans in the greater New York metropolitan area.
Well, this next one is from Peoria, Illinois. It's Jessica calling. Jessica, you're on the phone with Chris Jericho.
Hi, Chris.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm just hanging out. What's going on?
I just wanted to tell you that you are my absolute hero.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And why would you say that?
You're amazing in the ring, and you're amazing with Fozzy.
Oh, thank you very much. That's awesome. So you're a Fozzy fanatic and a Jerichoholic.
Definitely.
That would get you admitted to many psych wards in many different countries. I'll have you know that. Very good.
Jessica,
Okay.
thanks for the question. You know, did you want to say something?
Yeah, actually I do, Chris. We have a question here from the instant feedback from Cole Homer. Speaking of psych wards here, it says, this question for Chris Jericho, when was the last time you saw Ralphus?
Wow.
Wow, is right.
Ralphus was like this dude, I've probably told this story before, but it deserves to be told again, where I was mocking Goldberg in WCW, and he used to have the guards walk him to the ring, so I was going to have guards walk me to the ring, and I saw this guy around backstage. He had like the worst teeth ever, this goofy-looking guy, big fat dude, and I thought he's got to be my security guard. So I cut this T-shirt in half, and I wrote Jericho Personal Security on it, and I said, will you wear this to the ring? So he did, and then he became like this cult favorite where everyone loved Ralphus, like this ugly, goofy guy with like zero acting skills and zero knowledge about wrestling. But what happened in the tried and true, pure wrestling fashion, he became like a big head. He got like a big ego because he was, you know, suddenly famous in a short period of time. So I was forced to cut him loose because he was like, talking about how he was having he was going to get an agent, and his lawyers were negotiating a new contract for him, and he was going to go get his own show, and like all this, that, and the other thing. And so I hadn't seen him since I left WCW, and even after I left WCW, they kept using him with Norman Smiley, which I thought they could have like used him as like kind of like this cult classic character because he was so goofy, you know. But the problem was they started putting him in the ring and using him in angles and in matches and stuff, and he had no clue about anything about wrestling. He had no timing. He had no memory. He should have just walked people to the ring and then walked back. That's all he should have done. He would still be a huge over hero to this day.
Yeah, well, I think that was just the brainchild and the brain trust in WCW that had that brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Speaking of brilliant ideas, Chris, a lot of people are asking about the situation with you and Trish.
Right.
We know you're going to be at Raw in Atlanta this Monday night.
Hot Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta. And wondering if you're going to confront Christian over what happened last week.
Was that just Matthews who went, Hot Atlanta?
That's the boy right there.
That's phones. This is Jennifer from Dallas. Jennifer, you're on the phone with Chris Jericho.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. Better now, of course.
Oh, excellent. Me too.
Man, I heard that you had a great show the Monday night with Fozzy. The
yeah,
reviews
it was
on
awesome.
that have just been going crazy for it.
Yeah, it was great. We played in Omaha after the show in well, in Omaha. So a couple of the boys came down. Austin came down, and Bubba Dudley came down. A couple of Orton was there. So we had a good time. It was a lot of fun. It's kind of a good idea to do the Fozzy show after the WWE show.
Yeah, that was cool. Well, my question actually relates to Fozzy. I wanted to know if you feel like being part of the WWE has been more of a help or a hindrance to being in Fozzy as far as, publicity and being taken seriously as a band.
Well, when we first started, we kind of were like a novelty type thing, because it was more of kind of a comedy type thing, kind of modeled after the Blues Brothers or Spinal Tap, and it's one of those things. Being Chris Jericho from the WWE opens some doors, and it closes other doors where people be like, well, he's a wrestler, he can't possibly sing. There's no chance in hell that you can have actually two talents. So, and then with our second record, we kind of got away from the storyline thing, and then we're just starting to record our new record right now, which is all originals, and it's the real band, just us, and no more story, no more novelty, and it's kind of really for us like our first real record, because it's all originals, like I said, and we've kind of amassed a cult following around the world, which has been pretty cool. We sold about 100,000 records worldwide, so we have people who are into the band, and that makes it worthwhile for me to continue on. And like I said, there's always going to be people who think, well, because I'm a wrestler, that I can't possibly be a singer, or same people that think that The Rock can't possibly be an actor, or Mick Foley can't possibly be an author. So, and those people can just go in their stupid little rooms and close the door and just spank themselves, because I don't need them in my life.
Yeah, cool, man. Hey, what's the difference between being in a band and wrestling, Chris? Is there similarities, obviously, and what's the biggest difference?
There's a lot of similarities, because they're both creative outlets, and they're both. You would know, Doc, how you got to play to the crowd and listen to the crowd and react to how the crowd reacts, and kind of plan your show and your set and your match accordingly. So it's been, they're both very high energy and high impact forms of entertainment. And they're both really hinging on what kind of energy the crowd gives you, is what kind of a performance you give. But the most important thing as well is just to make sure that people have a great time. And that's what we do with Fozzy, and that's what I do with Chris Jericho whenever I'm in the WWE, is make sure that when people leave the arena or the club where we're playing or wherever, that they say, next time Fozzy's in town, next time Chris Jericho's in town, I'm definitely going to buy a ticket because I had a great time, and that's the most important thing.
And Fozzy will be at Metal Meltdown in Irvington, New Jersey on Friday, March 12th. I'm near New Jersey. Maybe I'll come down to Irvington and maybe I'll rock out with Fozzy.
Man, they would kill you in this place, man.
Yeah.
They would eat you alive. They'd put you on a spit and roast you like a goat.
Why? I'm cool.
Are you going to wear those cheesy little glasses that you wear? Actually, you know what? You stay home and send Rue down to the show.
Yeah, nice.
That's more like it.
Well, check out FozzyRock.com for more information on Metal Meltdown. We got another phone call. This is Andre from Charlotte, North Carolina. Andre, you're on the phone with Chris Jericho.
Hey, Mr. Jericho, how you doing?
Well, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right. I wanted to ask you, I found out about you basically when you were in ECW, and I really hadn't heard you talk about how it was working in ECW, and that's what I was asking.
How was it in ECW? Is that the question, Tom?
Okay. In ECW was the question.
It was a great time. I mean, I don't think anybody ever got rich working in ECW, but ECW is one of those things you can never explain it unless you were there. Unless you were working there and in that locker room and in front of those fans, you'll never really know exactly what it was like, because it was like a way of life, a revolution. I mean, people really believed in what they were doing, and that's why it didn't matter the money that you were paid. You were there because you were part of something special. And I was there right when it was near its peak, or ascending to its peak, early '96, and or was it '95? I don't remember. Somebody will have to tell me that. But it was something that I'll never forget, and I was really fortunate to be there, because it really helped me to get a lot of publicity worldwide, because everybody was watching ECW at that time. It was the maverick company that was just taking the world by storm. And to this day, a lot of the styles and a lot of the characters and the promos that you see in the WWE were still influenced by ECW and the work that Paul Heyman did when he was there, and all the guys, the Dudleys and Tommy Dreamer and Raven and everybody that was there working kind of behind the scenes. Taz as well. I mean, you can see a lot of their influences to this day in the companies that are around independently and in the WWE.
Right on. Chris, listen, thank you very much for joining us on Bite This. Right after you're off, we're going to be joined by Chris Benoit. What are your thoughts on having Benoit over on Raw?
I think it's great. I mean, the coolest thing was his first tour, he was added on to the shows in Japan. So we wrestled in Tokyo in front of about 22,000 people, Jericho versus Benoit. And it's the first time we'd wrestled in probably about 2 or 3 years, and the first time we wrestled in Japan in about 10 years. And it was it was so cool to go out there and feel that old chemistry again and really whip some ass and put on a great match and kind of, steal the show once again in a lot of people's minds. So it's great to have Chris on Raw, and I hope he wins the title at WrestleMania so I can challenge him and beat him for it. At least just have some great matches because we have the definite chemistry to continue to have the great series of matches that we always had. And Josh, you are as mediocre and as bad as usual. And Tom, I give you a Medal of Honor for putting up with the mediocrity of your partner and still making this show a special show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, you sexy beast.
Okay, Chris, talk to you later. Thanks for joining us.
Shut your mouth.
See?
Okay, that was Chris Jericho. Always a pleasure to have him here on
Always
Bite
a
This.
pleasure. Don't you understand how much heat you really have, man?
I wish we could have him here every week. That would be awesome.
Oh, we can work on that.
So the winner of trivia question number 2, name Chris Benoit's 2 opponents in his very first WrestleMania. Dr. Tom, those answers are...
Well, that would be Chris Jericho and, of course, our Olympic hero, Kurt Angle.
And the winner is Cole A. of Newark, Delaware. Congratulations, and wait in the mail, and you'll get your copy of Monday Night War on DVD.
Delivered by the postman. Personally,
delivered by the postman, not by a WWE superstar.
Here, get your pen again,
like I previously said.
How's your hat?
Take your pen. You don't really use that.
Yeah, sure.
And still to come, Chris Benoit joining us live here on Bite This. Always crazy stuff happening.
Before Chris Benoit joins us live on Bite This, so I want to give away the third question, or ask the third question. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
All right.
Go.
Chris Benoit and the Radicals first appeared on Raw on January 31st, 2000. In Pittsburgh. Name the 3 other members of the Radicals. Now, if you can't name this, guys, come on.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy. So email your answer along with your full name and complete address to BiteThis@WWE.com. And let's not waste any more time. Let's go right to the phone. Joining us now, Chris Benoit, the Rabid Wolverine. What's up, Chris?
How you doing?
Good. Thank you very much. This is your second interview today. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You just finished an interview with the Toronto Ottawa Sun. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I was talking about WrestleMania and whatnot, and the road there, the 18-year-long road there, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. And now, I'm sorry, Dr.
No, I was just going to say, Chris, I realize it has been 18 years. I thought it was 19, but 18, 19, 20 years, it doesn't matter. You've been a name in this business ever since you started. That when everyone associates with action and intensity when you step in the ring, now you have your chance on the big stage in the first ever 3-way dance at WrestleMania 20. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Chris Benoit going for the World Championship. A lot of people say this is long overdue, and you've got to be psyched. You've got to be ready. Obviously, in Madison Square Garden, when the world's going to be watching, what are you doing? Anything special to get ready for WrestleMania?
I'm just a lot more focused in terms of my training, and I really haven't sat down and let it sink in yet. I'm trying not to do that because I think it's a little overwhelming. I mean, just considering the fact of who I'm in there with, the world champion Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and you throw into the fact that we're in Madison Square Garden, WrestleMania 20, New York City. It's a little overwhelming. I really haven't sat down on my own and thought, just really let it sink in. I think I'm going to wait about a week or maybe even a few days before the event.
And then, Chris, right after WrestleMania, I know that you're fully focused on WrestleMania, but looking ahead, April's Raw pay-per-view is in Edmonton. How do you feel about that?
That's great. It's the first pay-per-view Edmonton has ever had. The fans up there are totally psyched. I've talked to a lot of the people in the media up there, and ticket sales are doing really well. I'm positive that it's going to be a sellout. Every time we've been up there for TV, it's just been an amazing, show of support from the fans, and to actually have a pay-per-view up there is great.
If you have any questions for Chris Benoit, give us a call, 888-LIVE-WWE. Dr. Tom.
Actually, I do have a question, Chris. Eddie Guerrero winning the World Championship at No Way Out. Obviously, looking at that, it's got to make you feel proud. It's got to make you feel happy for Eddie. And now knowing that you're going into WrestleMania also with the opportunity, and a huge opportunity it is, to win the World Championship, you've got to know that a lot of fans are looking at this as the tide is turning again, and you have the chance to make Raw and the World Championship mean something the way Chris Benoit wants it to mean, the way Chris Benoit's wrestling style is. Going into WrestleMania with Eddie Guerrero as the WWE champion and you walking out possibly as the world champion, how do you think business is going to change in the next year if you do walk away with this title?
Well, I think whether I do or whether I don't, I really enjoy the mat skills and the technical side of how the industry is changing. You see a lot of the young guys coming up and their technical ability at mat wrestling. It's just amazing. I mean, that's what really made me a fan when I was young, and to watch Eddie Guerrero.
Chris Jericho, we asked him about going back to Mexico. I'd like to ask you the same thing. Your thoughts about going back to Mexico after being there in the old days as a Pegasus Kid?
I'm looking so forward to that. That's I'd heard quite some time ago that the company was thinking of running some shows there, and I was pretty excited about it. They're great fans down there, and to actually be a part of WWE going down there, I'm looking very forward to it.
Chris, do you feel that your style in the ring has helped other people, not helped other people, do you think that it's rubbed off on other people that have come through the business and that are in the business right now?
Well, I think you never stop learning. I think of everyone that's ever been in the ring with me and the people that have trained me. And so I believe it's a chain. It's a big chain. It's like you learn off of everyone.
But Chris, I've heard you say in the past that when you're with somebody in the ring, maybe during the day or helping them, that they ask you how you do something and that you don't know, that it's just instinct to you that how you do it. Is that true? That it just comes so natural to you?
I don't know if that's the right words to use. Yeah, but a lot of times I'll be in the ring and they'll say, well, how do you take this arm bar here, this kind of arm bar, and it's like I find it really hard to explain. Like I could do it and show it, but to explain that, I find it hard to do because I've just been doing it for so long. To me, I just do it, and there's no thought process in doing it. So it's really hard for me to explain things verbally, but to physically show you I can do it. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense.
Right.
Very cool. Hey, Chris, we have another question from our instant feedback. Here it says, do you think that if he were still wrestling, Dean Malenko would be enjoying the success that guys like you and Jericho and the Guerreros are having?
Oh, most definitely. Whether he's wrestling or not, whether I was wrestling or not, I was so happy when Eddie won the championship. It was just, I was thrilled because, as I said, I've spent so much time in the ring with Eddie throughout the years, and he's such a big part of who I am as a wrestler, and I believe it's vice versa, and it's like everyone, in terms, I spent so much time with Dean and learned so much off of Dean. Actually, Dean's the one who taught me the crossface, which has done so much for me over the years. We're all a big part of each other.
You want to go back to the phones now? This is Jeff calling from North Carolina. Jeff, you're on the phone with Chris Benoit. Hello, Jeff.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
Good. My question is, which would be a bigger moment for you, winning the title at WrestleMania 20 or in front of your hometown?
Winning the title is going to be a huge moment if I ever have that opportunity to do it, and whether it's, definitely winning it on the biggest stage of the year, throughout the years, possibly, WrestleMania 20, Madison Square Garden would be a huge thrill. But, I couldn't tell you how it feels to actually, wrap that title around your waist and call yourself champion. So, but I'm sure doing it in any city around the world would be very thrilling because it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Chris, I want to go back a few months to the Royal Rumble. You entered at number 1 and went all the way through, lasted through the Rumble, was only done by one other person, that was Shawn Michaels. back in, I believe, 1995. How did it feel to go through that whole thing? How did you hold up physically? I mean, everyone knows you have a surgically repaired neck. I mean, explain the Rumble to us.
Yeah, well, fortunately for me right now, my neck feels great. I had a great surgeon and everything.
Opportunity, once again, for the World Heavyweight Championship, just about 2 weeks away. WrestleMania 20, the biggest stage of them all, Madison Square Garden, New York City. Chris, we want to wish you the best of luck, and thank you very much for joining us here on Bite This.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
You bet.
Okay, we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm really looking forward to seeing Benoit, Shawn Michaels, and, of course, Triple H.
Me too, but I'm really looking forward to you telling everyone who won trivia number 3.
Okay. Well, I think Stephanie S. from Miami, Florida won
Yes, she did. Trivia number 3.
And who were the remaining 3 radicals who came in with Chris Benoit?
It was Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
Perry Saturn.
Yes.
Eddie Guerrero.
Yes.
And, of course, Dean Malenko.
Dean Malenko, yes.
The 4 radicals that came from WCW to WWE. And they played a big integral part in the Monday Night War. So, Melissa, what was her name? Stephanie S. will get that Monday Night War DVD and she'll be able to check that out for herself. Dr. Tom, we don't know who's going to be here next week on the phones with us.
Why not?
We could get some surprise call-ins. We're going to get anybody. Well,
what's going to happen on SmackDown tonight, Josh?
Well, Kurt Angle, I'm hoping, will answer the question why he did what he did to Eddie Guerrero last week on SmackDown. Don't forget, Eddie Guerrero will go one-on-one with Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. So, obviously, maybe, perhaps, that has something to do with why Kurt Angle attacked Eddie Guerrero.
What about Brock Lesnar? Is he going to explain why it was on Raw?
Why was Brock Lesnar on Raw?
I don't know. You were at SmackDown, weren't you?
Let's find out. Hopefully tonight on SmackDown, and there will be a Cruiserweight #1 contender match. Billy Kidman, Nunzio, Jamie By God Noble, and Rey Mysterio.
Oh, no, I don't see Tajiri-san.
No Tajiri-san.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Tajiri will have something to say about that.
Hey, that is a Texas Longhorn hat, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Why are you wearing that?
Because it was, I bought it at,
I'm from Texas, kid.
I don't know. Draws will be back next week.
What was Draws?
He's at Disney World.
Oh, that's right, I forgot.
And don't forget about WrestleMania.
Where are you going after WrestleMania?
Where am I going? I'm going to Disney World.
I knew you would, man.
For Dr. Tom, I'm Josh Matthews, and all of Texas.
University, man.
We'll see you next week.
Welcome horns.